this is a really tough one to call, Kev. IdrA has been struggling this year, and he's been actually very vocal about those struggles. Last time I discussed it with him, he was pretty noticeably distressed about his results. But I still think of him as one of the premier Zerg players in North America, and I think that he can win here. I would love to be able to sit back and say the Grak is back after this series.
I would love to say the same, Ben. But I have to make a prediction, and I was actually going with Thorzain. Thorzain was top 4, Ben, in the NASL Season 2. That was a big finish for Thorzain, one of his biggest in his career. Of course, the TSL 3 win was huge, and his recent DreamHack win was huge. But that top 4 at DreamHack was really, really big as well. Gave him a lot of money. And Thorzain, a player of his caliber, being 2-3 in our league, Ben, I just don't think it's going to happen, so that's why I think that Thorzain is going to take this series.
Thorzain is definitely the favorite, and I would, while I would be pleased to see IdrA win, I would also be a little bit surprised, but I'm still going to choose Greg. I think he's going to do it. I think he can hold it down. This is the beginning of the resurgence of the Kraken.
Once more, guys, these games are replays. This was a postponed game because unfortunately IdrA was not able to play this game on time due to something happening in his private atmosphere. But he was ready to play right now, so I believe they played 2 or 3 days ago. So in case you guys wonder, isn't Thorzain somewhere in Texas right now? Yes, guys, he is, but this is a replay.
Yeah, Thorzain, in fact, was just playing against Sase at the Red Bull LAN.
Yeah, well, good games.
I do believe Sase won that series.
I do believe you're correct.
But they were very, very close. It was very well played on both sides.
Yep. EG IdrA is of course the North American Zerg on the top side of the map, and EG's Thorzain. EG's recently recruited Thorzain. It's our blue Swedish Terran at the right bottom side of the map, or shall I say, our American Terran. Do you think it's time for that yet, Ben?
I don't think Thorzain's quite American yet, but how about that practice environment they've had going over at the EG lair? They've got all the EG guys in preparation for Red Bull LAN, in preparation for MLG, training at the lair. Stefano's been there, Thorzain's been there. I feel like there's a couple of Koreans staying there. Am I wrong in that?
I think you're wrong. Okay. I can't remember that.
Maybe I'm just thinking about the EG guys themselves, JYP and Puma?
Yep, but I don't even think they are there because Puma right now is preparing or / playing the Code B qualifiers. It's time that we're finally going to see Puma in some sort of code. I don't care which code he joins, Ben. For my part, it's going to be Code C, but I want to see Puma in some code.
I just want to keep seeing Puma in the NASL, Kev. He's like the best NASL player ever. So I'm very happy that he is a part of the league. Thorzain going to be going with a Hellion opening. Hellions before Expand, which is...
Yeah, that's interesting as well. He stopped mining gas, by the way, Ben. He mined approximately 142 gas. Or no, actually, he just mined 40...
Just enough for the factory and the reactor.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, exactly makes sense. So for 1 second, I forgot that the factory actually costs gas. I was like, what is he going to do with additional 100 gas, man? I'm so confused right now. But
maybe he'll get another tech lab.
Yeah, now it of course all makes sense. So Thorzain's just going to open up with a couple of Hellions. I think actually with quite a few Hellions, man. I think we're going to see more and more huge Hellion numbers because I really feel that Zergs right now might feel overly safe with their new queen. Would you agree with that?
Maybe. I don't think extra Hellions is the answer to the new queen, though.
Yeah, but just for run-bys, just like, okay.
Okay, sure, yeah, that makes maybe a little bit of sense. For that to happen, though, the Zerg player still has to make a mistake. But yeah, okay. IdrA's going for an early Roach Horn, and I love this. I was already thinking about Thorzain's play, that he's cutting a dangerous corner by stopping with the gas.
Oh man, and once more, Thorzain is already throwing up that third command center. Perhaps IdrA looked at the replays of Lowly, and how insane does that sound? IdrA looking at games against Lowly, but perhaps he picked up on something. Perhaps he picked up on some sort of a window that he can punish his super economic opening from Thorzain.
Thorzain is, if there's a single criticism we can make of his TVZ, it might be that it's a little bit one-dimensional. Oh, already these initial Hellions doing some good damage. Thorzain has killed
all the drones are lined up.
6 drones, and he's going to kill a couple more. 8 drones total, dying to just 2 Hellions. Ouch, painful loss there from IdrA. He's going to make some roaches, and I think he's going to try to apply a little bit of counter pressure. Thorzain just now starting his tech lab.
I actually think that IdrA might be trying to all-in Thorzain over here, Ben, because he lost a lot of drones right now. 8 drones when he's already playing relatively, well, low eco. Yeah. He was at 31, now he's only 23. So IdrA is forced to do some insane damage right now. Because if he doesn't manage to do it, triple orbital, it's game over against a very low-tech Zerg.
I think you're exactly right, Kevin. And Thorzain, he's playing a very dangerous game. He still doesn't have a tech lab on this barracks. He can't build any Marauders. He's trying to go straight up to siege tanks. And now IdrA, instead of leaving and crossing the map, is just killing his rocks.
Yeah, he's waiting, I think, for enough links. Now he's making a drone, so maybe he wants to go back to droning, but that would be very, very strange, because I cannot see a world where IdrA is going to do enough damage to justify this opening and being on that low amount of drones for such a long time. Right now, Ben, Thorzain is already 8 workers ahead, and he's on triple orbital.
Yeah, you're right, but I'm still not convinced that he can hold this. His siege mode's well, there's no Baneling Nest. Okay, if there was a Baneling Nest, then maybe, but with a wall in, with tanks on the high ground, it will be very difficult for IdrA to break in here.
The first Marauser is on the map now as well, Ben, and I think this is going to be very tough for IdrA to do, be able to do a substantial amount of damage. I love that bunker positioning as well. The Hellions are doing pretty good damage.
Yeah, I like the way that IdrA has chosen to engage this, but the SCVs are doing great repairs, and IdRA's focusing the bunker and not killing the repairing workers, so he's losing all these units, and he's not actually doing any damage in return. The bunker finally falls. But IdrA is very clearly taking too much damage.
Yep, Siege is ready now as well. These roaches are definitely going to fall. Maybe they will be able to pick off 1 or 2 SCVs at the end. No, they will not. IdrA did overtake Thorzain during all this in the worker lead. It truly is a beautiful thing being Zerg, man, and being able to inject those hatcheries and being able to reduce 5 workers at once, but I don't think it's enough.
I don't think so either with triple orbital. Those mules are really very, very valuable. Andre loves to say that a mule's worth about 4 drones.
4 or 5.
And that means that he's still ahead economically, and we can see that he is actually out-mining IdrA right now in spite of the fact that he still hasn't taken a 3rd base. The thing that worries me more is just how much more developed Thorzain's tech is. He's on double eBay, he's got siege mode complete, he's got tanks. IdRA's still with a hatchery, no layer tech is what I mean to say. And now he's going to go into double upgrades of his own, so it looks like he's going to try to transition into infestor play.
Fortunately, he is on a hatchery, man. I would be really worried if IdrA was not on a hatchery anymore. He's getting that macro hedge now as well, so we can see 2 hatcheries in production for our North American Zerg. But just what you're trying to say, Ben, I think that first push of Thorzain, if Thorzain is going to make that first push, unless he's going to play somehow like we saw Rain play against Sen on this map when he did a ton of damage and then just decided to never attack. Then IdrA can definitely still come back into this game, but Thorzain always has such a good feel for the game. Whenever he is ahead, of course he's got the spoon Terran that he loves to take his time, but if Thorzain is really far ahead and he knows that he can hit a certain window, he's going to try to hit that window. And I think when we're going to have the first 2, maybe 4 medevacs on the map, he's just going to roll out.
I think you're exactly right. Those medevacs are going to line up with 1-1 and with stem. So that makes plenty of sense. Does he already have combat shields? No, actually he doesn't.
I can see it. I can. Wow, it was hard to keep up with the new Overlord speed, but the Overlord did fall eventually to those 3 Marines.
That's a funny joke. Yeah, the new Overlord is certainly not moving as fast as Speedling is on creep, but it is a very, very beneficial upgrade for Zerg players. It's really improved our ability to scout through all stages of the game, in spite of the fact that he's still not moving at light speed.
I don't know, I just love to make jokes about it because the change is so small, yet it's actually quite big. Certainly in some cases you really see a lot more as Zerg, but I just remember this one funny comment on YouTube when they had both Overlords in a line going next to each other, and it's like, I can see the top Overlord, but the bottom one is just a blur.
Just a blur.
I really love that comment.
YouTube
is a funny place, man. Sometimes, like, just for entertainment values, you can just randomly click on a video on YouTube and the top comments are always fun. Yeah.
So I just made an observation I'm curious about. What gender is an Overlord?
It's a male.
Is it a male because it's a lord?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Makes sense. Also, he has these like big boxing glove hands. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. He can deal some serious damage.
Yeah, you would think so, but Overlords actually don't like to fight. They're very pacifistic.
You know, actually, killing Overlords is my favorite thing in the game. It's like when you see like 4 or 5 Overlords and you blink below it with Stalkers. It's just the best feeling. Because they don't take that much damage to kill, but they also don't die very easily. So it's always like you see all the Stalkers just flying and it's so satisfying, Ben.
Feels good for you. How do you think it feels for the Stalkers who have to deal with all the Overlord goop falling down on them?
I think they're okay, man. They're in the metal suit anyway. IdrA tries to go for a small run by over here at the 3rd base of Thorzain, but he won't be able to achieve anything. But IdrA did stabilize very well, man. He's on 81 drones right now. He's getting Ventral Sex, he's getting Overlord speed, Roach speed is almost ready, and he's gonna have a bunch of infestors. So the timing that I thought that Thorzain might try to hit, I think he's already gonna be a little bit too late for that.
He's not really doing a timing, he's just doing hey, I'm going to make a big army and go. IdrA he's behind in upgrades. That's really the one place that he hasn't managed to close that gap, and it's a gap that he's not going to close, quite frankly, until 3-3 finishes. But he's also getting drop, which is very, very interesting, and I love the way we're starting to see Zerg players experiment with big drops into Terran and Protoss bases. It's a great way to punish a player for being out of position.
I certainly on Ohana, Ben. We've seen it before. IdRA's going to try to do something. He's going to lose a lot of those links. It's not the wow, look at this tank in disguise, man.
I think IdrA's going to be better off if he just cancels his hatchery, but he does decide that he wants to go ahead and take a fight.
One Fungus, one Marine with his first Fungus. The other Fungus are a little bit better, but he just doesn't have the units to clear up the forces of Thorzain right now.
Not to clear him up, but he has slowed this push down substantially. He's got more units popping out. 13 roaches is going to add a lot of meat to this army. So IdrA may actually end up saving this hatchery. Thorzain is reinforcing.
Yeah, a lot of units in production right now for IdrA. His army supply is already pretty big, and it's going to be a lot bigger when all those links and roaches are popping.
Now there's a tank in range of this hatchery. Oh, just outside of range, I lied. But it's close enough to cover these units, certainly, and I think IdrA will lose the hatch. So unfortunately, that is 300 minerals. He's not going to get back, and he's going to go ahead and engage with the broodlings. That was kind of cute, and he is going to get this entire hit squad. Infestor's walking so far forward. IdrA's Infestor control failing him there. That's an expensive loss.
That was a really expensive loss. We can see the army supply plummeting as well, back to 75 right now. We do have one Viking over here on the right. Wow, look at this tank, by the way, man. Already killed 25 units.
Tanks are good, man.
How often do you see that?
It's well, pretty often, man. You must not count siege tank kills very frequently.
No, but like that quick, in like one of the first pushes in the game, already 25 kills.
Yeah, well, I think does Thorzain have the +1 weapons for? Yeah, he does. So every time a tank shoots, it kills a Zergling, and often it kills more than one Zergling.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think 25. Well, there wasn't that much fighting in this game. Certainly not with that siege tank. So 25 kills already, I think, is quite a lot. Maybe it was that first tank which actually popped on the high ground. Nice fungo right there by IdrA with those 2 infested Terrans. Kills that medevac.
Yeah, well played. IdrA does have drop finished up. I would like to see him start to use it a little. He is maxed, or essentially maxed at 194 supply.
Wow.
Great way to free up some supply is to do that dropping. But actually, Thorzain has units in position in his base, so it'd be hard to have an effective drop.
IdrA's macro has been really quite good in this game. I mean, he lost 8 drones early on. He was low eco, but he stabilized very, very well. He recovered well, and then he stabilized. He's going to try to do some dropping right now. I think Thorzain saw it.
He saw the units moving out there. IdrA's going to see Thorzain's army, but he doesn't seem to be reacting to the overlords. At the same time, IdrA's going to make a little run by into this 4th expansion, and he might be able to kill it. And actually, Thorzain going to be forced to lift. Nice moves by IdrA, buying himself some valuable time. Thorzain dropping, though, at IdrA's 4th. Tons of multitask happening right now. This is turning into a great game as IdrA's making his way down into Thorzain's 3rd. Finds a siege tank waiting for him. IdrA's own drop making its way into Thorzain's main. There's only a handful of Marines there, Kev.
Should be enough. I mean, it should be more than enough for IdrA. It's going to unload all these Zerglings.
They need to unload. Yes, they're going to, and some Infestors going to unload as well. IdrA's not watching the Infestors, though. Now he's going to drop that big fungal, cleans up those defending Marines. Thorzain pushing down on IdrA's 3rd, though, and I don't know if IdrA has the units to stop this.
He has a lot of Infestors, so he can slow down a little bit. Man, this is going to be really close. A lot of new units popping out for Thorzain, though, with all those reactors. Actually, Thorzain is going to be more than just fine in his main base.
And Thorzain's cleaned up that drop, and IdrA's left those 4 Infestors behind. Here we go, big fight here at the 3rd base of IdrA. Infested Terrans being dropped. Roaches coming in. A lot of the tanks are going to fall, but still, I don't know if IdrA's going to have enough supply-wise. It's still pretty close. Good fungals going down. And with reinforcements, actually, IdrA will clean this up. And GG.
IdrA won't clean it up after all, Ben, because Thorzain is going to be the winner of game 1. Perhaps? Well,
I mean, everybody loves to say that IdrA often GG's prematurely, but I don't know that I mean, his main is mined out. Can we look at the game screen just to kind of get a state of the game here?
Yes, let's go back to our game screen right now.
IdrA's got a mined out main, a very thin natural.
There's a drop in his main base, which he cannot really deal with. I think one of the most crucial things, man, while I was watching this fight, I actually think that the Overlord, which picks up those 4
it just stayed there, and it was lost.
Yeah, it was lost, because particularly with the unit counter tab right now, we see there are only 2 Infestors left. But I don't think that IdrA had to leave yet. I mean, he has 1,000 minerals. He's only down 10 supply.
But he's got tons of supply popping out in production. There's 42 supply worth of roaches that's about to spawn, which would have been more than enough to clean up the drop. And he's pretty much dealt with the push. Now, Thorzain is in a great position economically. He's got money in his natural, money in his 3rd, money in his 4th. And IdrA's basically in a position where he has to take a new base.
That is true. But IdrA had this space. I mean, he did just. I mean, it was going to be very tough for
yeah,
IdrA.
he's behind.
Yes.
He's not in a winning position.
No,
at
but
that
I wouldn't
point,
necessarily say that he was absolutely down and
yeah,
out.
I don't think I'm ready to say that either. But still a good game, and it really picked up there at the end. That game was brought to you guys by Epson Projectors, epson.com/projectors to check out the best and brightest line of projectors on the planet. We're going to play a very short commercial, and then when we get back, Game 2, IdrA versus Thorzain.